Hi everyone and welcome back to what you can probably tell from the title is a slightly different video for me. Today I'm going to be talking about the worst shift I ever did on my programme last summer. I was a merchandise cast member in Hollywood Studios in the Theatre District for 3 months the summer of 2017 and yeah, this was my worst day by far. So I should probably start by quickly explaining my area. So in the Theatre District we have a bunch of stores. We have Star Wars, Frozen, Indiana Jones, a general store, we have Hubcarts, and we have a Christmas shop. So we have all those stores, but as well as that we also have different responsibilities within the stores. So you could have like a regular merchandise shift, which is just like checking people out and guest interaction. You could have a stocking shift, which could be in one of the stores, or it could be stocking the whole area on like a loop for the outside locations. Or you can have a vending shift, which is what I'm talking about today, which is where you have a cart and you have a cash apron and you're selling your wares on your cart to the guests and collecting money and doing it all in your head. So you can see where this is going from the title, the $300 thing. Let's just get started. So I should probably say, to start with, I hate maths. I always have, pretty much since I got to high school really. I just hated it. I'm not like really bad at it, but I kind of have a mental block around it. So if I see maths or sums, I just think nope, I can't do it. Like on one shift, like a guest had given me some money and I was gonna have to give them quite a lot of change in coins, and then they're like, oh wait, I can give you this to make it easier. But I'd already typed in like how much they'd given me, so the change was showing up on the register of how much I had to give, and I was like, I can't work out that in my head. Like my other class member like kind of saved me. She was like, oh, it's fine, you just have to give them like a little bit less and it's rounded up, it's much easier. And I was just like, so yeah, maths is not my strong point. I'm the sort of person, like in an exam, if it says like, oh, what's 2 times 5? I would like, should probably check on the calculator just in case. So I dropped maths as soon as possible. In the UK you have to do it up until you're 16, and then after that you can choose, and obviously I dropped that and science and basically anything that was to do with numbers and like that side of the brain. I'm so much more creative. So I have not really done maths since I was 16, and I was 21 at the time of the shift. I mean, that's no excuse. We use maths like in our daily life, but I guess it's very different when you're like presented with, okay, do sums in your head now. So in my area you get trained on vending right at the end of your training period, which lasts about 2 weeks because there's so much to learn, and you have a little like practice shift where you go out and you sell waters and you sell squeeze breezes. Waters are like $3, squeeze breezes are $20. It's pretty easy, and you are with a trainer the whole time, and it lasts a couple hours and then you get counted out and it's all good. So I did that shift and I was pretty scared to do it, but it went fine in the end. Like I broke even, it was all good. But I didn't get scheduled a vending shift after that for about 3 weeks. So after that initial training period there was a massive gap, whereas my friend in my area who got her vending training at the same time as me had a shift like the next day, so she kind of jumped straight into it. So whereas she had that, I had a lot of time to get nervous and scared about these shifts coming up, and eventually I did have one because they kept getting like called off, because if it rains really heavily then they just cancel it and they keep you in a stocking shift or they send you home early. So my day of doom finally rolls around, and the way a vending shift works is it's about 8.5 hours and it's a split shift. So you'll start, I believe, at around 1 or 1:30, and you're stocking in Tatooine Traders, which is our Star Wars store, and you have around 4 hours and you have a 30-minute break in that time, and then at the end of the 4 hours you have another 30-minute break, because basically once you're outside and vending you can't be pulled out to go for a break or to eat food or whatever. Like it's pretty much just, you're out there, you need to stay with your cart the whole time. You can't swap your like money vest wallet thing, cash apron, you can't swap that with anyone else because you've like signed off that it's your responsibility and the money in the apron is yours. So it gets to 5:15 and my shift is supposed to start my vending part of the shift, but it is like tipping it down with rain. It's so heavy. So I go to the leader's office and I say like, what's up, am I gonna vend? And I'm like, please can I not vend, I hate it, but you know, I'm trying to stay cool. And they were like, well, Obviously not right now because there is thunder and lightning, so just continue stocking and tat. So I was like skipping along. I was like, I'm not gonna have to vend. And then after 30 minutes the rain clears and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to do it. But I'm like just walking around in tat, just trying to play it cool. And then the phone rings in the stock room and he says, oh Emily, the rain's cleared, come to the hub shed and we'll get you ready for your vending. Brilliant. So the hub shed is where they store all the stuff for vending. It's just like, it's basically a shed. And it has all the supplies you need, so it always has the carts outside. So I walk over there and we stock my cart with all the lightsabers, the bubble wands, the hats, the light up glowy contraption things that we sell. We get it all together in a cart, and I explain it's my first time, I'm feeling pretty nervous, and he was like, oh, it's all good. And then he gives me like the price list, which is like the cheat sheet of how much everything is. One bonus about vending is that everything is rounded up to a whole number, so you won't have to deal with coins, so that's at least one thing less to worry about. So everything's got like tax included, so it's all nice round numbers. So he goes through everything with me, because obviously things like glow wand on the list, there are like 3 different types, so he was like telling me what each one was, because obviously they're worth different pricings. Then we go count out my cash, so it's all divided up into 1s, 5s, 10s and 20s, and you're pretty much good to go. So he sent me out with my cart, I had my money tied around me, I was shaking, I was so scared, but anyway, so I went out and it was only going to be a reduced time. I was only going to be out for about 2 hours because of the rain and everything. So I take my cart out and I start selling. A leader comes to check on me because they know it's my first time and it's all going good. And I was actually starting to kind of enjoy it at one point, like kind of, I say kind of. Then it starts to get a bit darker, and another leader comes and she's like, oh, you should probably go stand in front of the stage before like the fireworks and the nighttime shows start, so that you're ready and everyone will be like taking advantage of that and buying more stuff. And I was like, okay, like I was trying to stay in the more chilled parts just so I wasn't swarmed. But anyway, I push my cart along, I go stand, and obviously I'm swarmed by little kids who love all the light up stuff, and they're playing around with it, taking it off my cart, showing it to their like parents, and I'm like, please stay by the cart, I don't want anyone stealing stuff. So that was a little bit stressful. But then my coordinator came to take me back to count me out after the shift had ended, and he's like, how did it go? And I was like, I think it went okay, like I'm feeling alright at this point. I mean, what could go wrong in 2 hours? Let's see. So we go back to the Indiana Jones Outpost store, which is closed by that time, so it's just me and the coordinator. Normally there's 2 people vending, but I think they had like a call out on this day, so it was just me. So I was just kind of like nervously waiting. So he counts all the merchandise on my cart and then all the money in my cash apron, just basically just to check if there's any discrepancies, if I've lost any money, or if any product has been stolen maybe. So he counts it all out and I'm just like trying to stay calm, and then suddenly he's just like, oh no. I'm just like, what's wrong? He's like, this is not good, this is not good, and he counts the money again. So my heart starts to race a little bit, and then he's just like, this is really not good. And I'm like, what's wrong? He's like, you're short by $300. And my heart just stops. I'm just like, how can I be short $300? Like, I've only been out for 2 hours. I did take a couple $100 notes because guests obviously don't think they're going to change up for like less amounts, I don't know, so I did have a couple, but I was like, how can I have lost $300? So he's counting it again, and all the time I'm like, I should never have been allowed to vend, I suck at math, it's so bad, like this is horrendous, I'm gonna get termed, they're gonna get sent home, they're gonna think I've stolen it. Like, I'm having so many thoughts in my head at this time. Pretty much this is like the worst 10 minutes of my whole program. It's just awful. So he counts it all again and he's like, yep, that's still $300 short. And he's like, did you have anything stolen? Or, and then he's looking at the cart and suddenly he goes, I haven't counted the lightsabers. What? So basically like a lightsaber cost around $30, I think it was. So he basically had counted it as if I'd sold all the lightsabers. So I should have had an additional $300 in my cash apron than I did. So he counts it again, and then after that he's like, okay, this is a little bit better, you're short $30. I think it was around 30, like the price of one lightsaber. And he's like, it's the price of one lightsaber. He was like, did you ever have like kids swarming you at one point? I was like, yeah, there was a kid who did take one and ran off to show his parents, but I thought he brought it back, but maybe he didn't, like I'm not sure. And he's like, okay, well that would work out. I mean, if just $30 it's one lightsaber, it's fine. So I'm starting to calm down again, and he's like, I'm just gonna be sure and count it one more time. Then he counts it, he's like, yep, you're just short by that much, so it's all fine. And then he looks at the cart again and he goes, wait, what's that one tucked around the corner? And I was like, what? And then pulls it around, he's like, I didn't count that lightsaber, you're even. Seriously, like I broke even. I didn't lose any money, like, and everyone loses a couple dollars because it's sticky money, like you're giving change out and you're rushing, and everyone loses. They're like $5 to $15 is fine, like it's all good. You can lose that much if you just, that's what happens, people make mistakes. But I broke even. Like I was so nervous about this shift and I literally couldn't have done it any better. That was like the craziest whirlwind 10-15 minutes of my program, thinking, oh my god, I've lost $200, to, oh, this is actually like one of the best times we've ever had people vend for the first time. So yeah, basically I don't know, I didn't even have like the energy in me to be annoyed. I just felt drained emotionally because I had been so scared to do this shift, and then to be told, oh my god, you've done it so awfully wrong, this is never going to happen again, like people, I'm going to get like a black mark on my form that I'll never vend again. Like, I mean, I wouldn't mind not vending again, but I don't really want a mark on my form. In the end, it's all good, and we take all the stuff back to the hub shed and put it all back, and he's trying to make conversation with me, but I'm still kind of in shock. I'm just like, what just happened? And then basically what we do is we go close down a couple of the other locations and like collect the money from the register. So we go to one of the hub carts. They're on like either side of the Chinese theatre, so as you're facing it, like in front of the stage. So basically we go to close one down, and I'm trying to just like make conversation because I'm so nervous, and not nervous, but you know, relieved. And when you're relieved, you're just kind of like talking non-stop, or at least I do. And I'm like, oh, the fireworks show is about to start. Oh, I've never seen the fireworks show before, all out. Like, I need to go see it at some point. And then the coordinator just stops and he's like, well, do you want to watch it? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I can close this by myself. You can just stand to the side and watch it and enjoy it. And this is like a 10-15 minute show. It doesn't take that long to close the register, but I think he felt a bit bad because yeah, he'd gone from telling me I lost $300 to actually did a really good job. So by the end of it, I got to stand and watch the whole Star Wars Galactic Spectacular on my shift, being paid to be there. So I got to just stand and watch the fireworks show after having the most stressful shift of my life. So it was a pretty good consolation prize, but yeah, it was not a fun shift. So basically what happens is after you have vended, they kind of input your result or whatever. I'm assuming that's what they do, and when it came back that I had broke even, my next work schedule came up with 4 vending shifts, which obviously I was thrilled about. I managed to trade 2 of them away to people who liked vending somehow, and then I had 2 left. One got called off because of the rain, thunder and lightning, so I just stopped, and the other one I almost passed out before because I was so exhausted from heat, so they just kept me in an inside location because that happens in Florida. So I didn't ever vend again on my program, so I have a clean record that the one and only time that I did a vending shift I broke even, but it was the worst shift and the worst day of my whole program. So that is pretty much this story time coming to a close of the time that I thought I lost the Disney company $300, which obviously in the grand scheme of things, they make millions, is not a lot, but to someone whose paycheck for the whole week comes to around that much, quite a lot. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video and hearing about this awful experience for me, which I now look back on and laugh about, but still not a fun day. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!